Hello and welcome to Nikolay's genetics lessons, and today's problem going to be about how to find frequencies of alleles in the population if only phenotypes or blood groups are given. So here's a problem. The city of Honolulu has population of 1 million and the blood types are as follows, and here is phenotypes and frequencies of occurrence in population. So the question is, what are the allele frequencies in this population? On the first glance, this is easy problem. We just have to find real numbers here and add all those numbers and divide each number for each phenotype by total number of alleles or people. So these numbers represent number of peoples. So this is maybe a 7th grade problem, but not everything as simple as you may think, because only phenotypes here are given. For example, phenotype B can consist of two genotypes. It can be B genotype and BO. So we don't know how many people from this number belong to genotype BO or BB. And yet another phenotype A also consists of two genotypes. The first one would be A, and the second one would be AO. So as you see, in both these phenotypes, allele O present, and we don't know frequency of this allele that make this phenotype. So with other two phenotypes it's much easier. Phenotype O made by single genotype, that is O, and phenotype AB made by a single genotype AB. So as you see, the problem is much more complicated than it seems from the first glance. So let's find the numbers of people. So this is scientific notation. 10 raised 5 means 10 multiplied by itself 5 times. So 4 and 5. So basically we have to multiply 5 times, 4.5 5 times by 10. So the answer here would be that 450,000 out of million people belong to the genotype B, and 360 people belong to genotype O, and 130,000 belong to phenotype A, and 60,000 belong to the genotype AB. So before I would explain how we are going to solve this problem, I have to tell you that in order to solve this problem we have to use Hardy-Wainberg equation, and you know that this is p squared plus 2pq plus q squared. But how we got this formula, this is explanation of when we have two alleles in population, allele P and Q, and we have diploid organism, that why we have to rise here by 2. So we have allele P, allele Q in population, just two alleles, and diploid organism. So this equation is the same as P plus Q multiplied by another P plus Q. So now we multiply P by P, P by Q, and then we have to multiply Q by P and Q by Q. So this is how we got this equation here. But in our example we have not 2 alleles but 3 alleles. So our equation would be P plus Q plus R. So 3 alleles. Once again, organism is diploid, so raised 2. And this would be the same as we multiply P plus Q plus R. And by the way, P stands for the allele A, and Q stands for the allele B, and R stands for the allele O. As you see, those we have 4 blood groups, but blood groups consist of just 3 alleles. As you see, allele B, allele O, and allele A. So here once again we have allele O, A, and B. So total number of alleles is 3. These 3 alleles make 4 different blood groups. And also I want to note that allele A and allele B are codominant, and allele O is recessive to both allele A and B. That's why when we have allele A and O, blood groups still would be A, and when we have allele B and O, phenotype still would be B, because B is dominant over allele O, and allele A dominant over allele O also. But when we have 2 alleles A and B, because these 2 alleles are codominant, blood group would be distinctive from the rest and would be AB. So let me proceed. So this would be the same as we would multiply these alleles once again, and final formula. This is going to be trinomial expansion, this is binomial expansion, and this is trinomial expansion. Usually we use this formula when we have just 2 alleles, for example, dominant allele A and recessive allele A, but in our case we have to solve our problem using trinomial expansion. So what would be the final formula that we are going to use? And here is the formula. So let me clean a space here, and our formula that you get used to, Hardy-Wainberg formula here on the top, but the formula that we are going to use today would be P squared plus Q squared plus R squared plus 2PQ plus 2PR plus 2QR. Once again, P squared stands for the genotype A, and Q squared stands for the genotype B, and R squared stands for the genotype O. 2PQ stands for the genotype that is A and B. PR stands for the genotype that is A and O, and QR stands for the genotype, that is BO. So now we have listed all 6 genotypes that make 4 phenotypes. Genotype AA and genotype AO would make blood group A. So let me underline that this is the same phenotype. Genotype B would make the same phenotype as BO. This is going to be blood group B, and genotype AB would make its own distinctive phenotype AB, and yet another genotype genotype OO would make another blood group O. I'm sorry, I didn't left enough space on the right, so I would put one here on the left. So all these genotypes, when we combine them together, would equal to 1. And 1 in our calculations equal to 100%. So if we combine all the people that belong to all 6 genotype to all 4 phenotypic blood groups, we are going to get 100% of the population. Or usually in mathematical equations we use 1 that represent 100%. So all our calculations would be on the scale between 0 and 1, that also would be equal to 0 and 100%. Once again, we have to find frequency of each genotype first in order to find frequency of each allele. And we are given only phenotypes. Let me return to our initial numbers that is given. So as you see, if we combine all these numbers, we are going to get 1 million. So 1 million of people who belong to these 4 phenotypes. So in order to solve this problem, we have to find frequency of the phenotype blood group O that is made by genotype OO, and we have to divide 360,000 by 1 million in order to find frequency of this phenotype, and this phenotype equals to genotype. That's why we using this blood group in order to start solving our problem. So if we divide 360,000 by 1 million, we are going to get a frequency of this genotype that is going to be 0.36. This is going to be frequency of the blood group O phenotype. So now we can put this number in our formula. Once again, in our formula, blood group O represented by R squared. So if we know that frequency of the R squared equals to 0.36, this gives us information that R would equal to 0.6. We just took a square root of this number. So once again, genotype R squared here stands for the genotype OO, and R stands for the frequency of the allele O. So once again, this is frequency of this genotype or phenotype O, and R stands here for the frequency of the allele O in the population. So now when we find the frequency of the allele R, and as you see, we have allele R in our formula in multiple places. For example, we have it here, we have it here, and we have it here. Genotype that is R squared we have here. So now we can put these numbers in our formula and let's see what's going to happen. So I just would rewrite our formula one more time, and p squared would be the same. This is frequency of the genotype AA. Then we add frequency of the q squared. This is genotype B. No changes here. Then we add frequency of the genotype OO, or phenotype O, and we know that this is this number, so plus 0.36 plus 2p q, and this is genotype, sorry, here we have genotype O, and here we have genotype AB, plus 2pr, and we have number r, so we can replace it, multiplied by 0.6 plus 2q, once again r, and we know that r equals to 0.6, and p stands for the allele A, and 0.6 stands for the frequency of the allele O. Q here stands for the frequency of the allele P, and 0.6 stands for the frequency of the allele O. And all this equals to 1. Once again, when we have three alleles, allele A plus allele B plus allele O, if we add all these alleles that occur in the population, we are going to get 1, or, as you remember, this would equal to 100% of all alleles present in population. Next step would be to find the frequency of the allele A. So we have to return to our problem, and we have to find how many people belong to the blood group A. So as you see, people who belong to the blood group A, so let me circle it, would be 130,000. If we divide 130,000 by total number of people living in Honolulu, we would find that frequency of this phenotype would be 0.13. But once again, this is not a frequency of the allele A, this is frequency of the phenotype A that consists of two genotypes, AA and AO. So now when we know the frequency of the phenotype, we can proceed solving our problem. So now we can say that this genotype and this part of the formula, so this genotype that is, let me put in the box maybe for you to better to see. So these two genotypes would make phenotype A. So we can say, in other words, that for example, p squared plus 2p p multiplied by 0.6 would equal to the frequency of the phenotype A, because this genotype A and this part stands for the genotype A and O. So both these genotypes would make one phenotype A. And as you remember, frequency of this genotype is 0.13. I know this is going to be probably my longest video so far, but if you would be able to solve this problem, you can, believe me, would be able to solve any Hardy-Wainberg genetic problem. So now we have to rearrange this formula that we have here, this equation. So we also can say that p squared plus 2p multiplied by 0.6. So we can now move this number to the left part. So this is going to be minus 0.13 would equal to 0. So if we deduct 0.13 from the left side, so we have to deduct this number from the right side. So on the right side we going to get 0, and this is what we are going to get on the left side. One more step, p squared. I do not put AA here, so this is for your reference. And this number 0.13 represent phenotype frequency of the phenotype A that is made by two genotypes A and AO. So next step, we have to multiply 2p by 0.6. So this is going to be 1.2p minus 0.13 and equal to 0. And we can rearrange one more time. I wouldn't explain this algebra because this would probably take another 20 minutes from me, but if you don't know what's going to happen on the next step, but if you do not understand how I came to the next step, you have to review algebra. So if we rearrange this as two parentheses, we are going to get p plus 1.3 multiplied by another parenthesis p minus 0.1, and all this equals to 0. So basically this formula is the same as what we have here. If we multiply all these numbers, we are going to get the same what we have here on the top. So this expression would equal to 0 if what we have in this parenthesis would equal to 0, or if this part would equal to 0. And this part would equal to 0 if p would equal minus 0.3. So if minus 0.3 plus 1.3, this would equal to 0, and anything multiplied by 0 would equal to 0. Or in this parenthesis, if p would equal to 0.1, then the whole expression would equal to 0 if this part would equal to 0, because anything multiplied by 0 would equal to 0. So we have two answers, which answer to choose. Of course, frequency of the allele have to be a positive number. So we have to cross out this variant, and this is going to be our answer. This is going to be frequency of the allele A in this population. So now we know frequency of the allele A. We now know the frequency of the allele O. So let me move a little bit. As you remember, this is frequency of the allele O in population, and now we know frequency of the allele A, and now we can proceed and find the frequency of the allele B in this population. Phenotype B is made by two genotypes, genotype B and genotype BO. So once again, we are going to do the same thing in order to find this genotype, the frequency of the allele B. Basically, the same thing what we have done here. I don't know if I would have enough space on the right, but I will try. So we have here Q squared. I forget to put square sign here. So we have Q squared plus 2Q multiplied by 0.6, and this would equal to frequency that we're going to find now. Let me go back to our initial problem. So let's find the frequency of the phenotype B. So this is phenotype B here, and this phenotype is made by two genotypes BB and BO, and we have 450,000 people who belong to this phenotype. If we divide by total number of people in Honolulu, we would find that frequency going to be 0.45, and this is going to be frequency of occurrence phenotype B in population of Honolulu. So now we can return to our calculations. Sorry, I don't have much space left here, so this would equal to frequency of occurrence of this phenotype in the population, that is 0.45. Once again, Q squared stands for the genotype B. Q here stands for the allele B, and 0.6 stands for the frequency of the allele O in this population. And these two genotypes combined would make phenotype whose frequency in population is 0.45. As you remember, with our next step we have to move this number to the left part. So we are going to get Q squared plus 2Q multiplied by 0.6 minus 0.45, and all this would equal to 0. With the next step, we are going to get Q squared plus, we have to multiply 2 by 0.6, so this is going to be 1.2Q minus 0.45 equal to 0. So once again, simple algebra, this would equal to Q plus 1.5 multiplied by q minus 0.3 and would equal to 0. So once again, if we multiply q by q, q by minus 0.3, 1.5 by q, 1.5 by minus 0.3, we are going to get the same what we have here on the top. And this gives us where the q should equal to minus 0.5 or q have to equal to plus 0.3. Once again, we cross out negative number because occurrence of the allele cannot be negative, it have to be positive. So this is going to be this number here, going to be frequency of the allele B, because Q stands for the allele B in this population. So now we have frequency of 3 alleles, A, B, and O. So once again, frequency of the allele A is 0.1, frequency of the allele B in population 0.3, and frequency of the allele R, or frequency of the allele O, is 0.6, as you remember. Now we can solve, or basically we have to check this part of the formula. This is stand for the genotype, or in this case genotype equal to phenotype A, B. So what we have to do, we have to multiply 2 by P, and this is 0.1, and multiply by Q, or frequency of the allele B in population, that is 0.3. So let's do it, and let me once again move our calculations. So we have a frequency of the allele P, that is 0.1, or this is frequency of the allele A in our population. In our formula, Q stands for the frequency of the allele B, that equal to 0.3. This is frequency of the allele B in our population. And R, frequency of this allele, is equal to 0.6, and this is stands for the allele O, frequency of the occurrence of the allele O in this population. And the last genotype and phenotype would be genotype AB, and in our formula, as you remember, we have 2PQ, and as you see, P stands for the allele A, Q stands for the allele B. So this is not Z, this is 2. So now we have to do simple calculations. So occurrence of this genotype we know from information given. So let me return here. We have, as you see, blood group AB, and frequency equals to 6 multiplied by 10,000. This gives us 60,000 people who belong to the blood group AB. If we divide 60,000 by 1 million, we are going to get 0.06. And basically we do not have to calculate this number, we have to just check our calculations. So we have to multiply 2 by frequency of the allele A, or p in our formula, so have to multiply by 0.1, and we have to multiply by frequency of the allele b, that is 0.3, and as you see, the answer here would be 0.06, and this is exactly what we have in our data that were given at the beginning. So we use this part only just to confirm that frequencies that we got are correct. Another way to confirm that these frequencies of these alleles that we got are correct would be to add all these numbers. As you remember, all the alleles A in population, and here is the frequency of the allele A, plus frequency of the alleles B in population, and here is the frequency of the allele B in population, plus frequency of all the alleles O in population should equal to 1 or to 100%. And this is exactly what we got here. 0.1 plus 0.3 would be 0.4, plus 0.6, we are going to get 1. So this number represents frequency of the allele A, this number represents frequency of the allele B, and this number represents frequency of the allele O in this population. And these three alleles, as you remember, make 4 phenotypes, and frequency of those phenotypes are given in our problem. So now we have found frequency of the alleles, all 3 alleles that we can find in this population, and this is going to be our answer. Thank you for your attention. I hope everything were very clear today, and one more time, this is one of the hardest problems, so if you would understand how to solve this problem, you would be able to solve any Hardy-Wainberg formula, whatever you may have on your exam. It took me 37 minutes, but actually, as you see, if you would work fast, you can solve this problem within 5-6 minutes. And this is all for today. Thank you for your attention. Please subscribe for my new videos that I post almost every day. Thumbs up if you like this video. Please write your comments, questions if you have any, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.